Okay, so we do a different operations to manipulate the data. So what we do, either we create a new records. Insert means here we create new records to the Salesforce objects. We create a new records to a Salesforce. We do a operation called a insert. So everybody can hear me and see the screen, right?
Yeah.
One of the operation is a insert, where we use this operation to create a new records to the Salesforce object. It could be a standard object or a custom object or whatever the object it is matter. We do an insert to create a new records to the Salesforce objects. Okay, what is a permission required to do this insert operation? So we have a CRUD permissions in the profile level, right? For the object, what are permissions we have in a profile level? We have a read, edit, I guess, right? Read, edit, then have a create, delete, and then
Modify all.
yes, we all, and then modify all. These are all the total 6 permissions that we have for every object. So for doing this operation, insert operation, insert means what actually it does? It does a creating the record. So you need a create permission to do the insert operation. Okay, so if sometimes if you get any, you have some insert code and if it is failing with insufficient privileges, that you need to check for that profile. You need to check if that particular user profile in this particular object, whether you have permission to create or not. That is what you need to check to perform the insert operation. Okay, so what is the update does? Update is, it will not create a new records, but it will modify. It means, let's say you have one record and you have some fields and you want to change some fields on the same record without creating a new record. That is called a update. So we use update to modify the existing records in a Salesforce objects. Okay, so what permissions we need here? So just I was doing a double quotes over here. I don't have much formatting over here. So we need a create permission over here. So here we need edit edit permission. Edit permission is required. Edit permission is required to perform update of operation. Okay, good so far. Okay, fine. So we know when we have UI, Salesforce UI, we know that we will open any record and then either create a new, either use a new button to create new records or open existing record and click on the edit button and we do make changes and save. That is the update usually. And for insert, what we do? We use a new button. sorry, we use a new button and add what are the fields we need and do a save. Then it will do a insert. But how we do in the code? So I will give some mock-up here. So if you do a insert, let's take some standard object example. I'm having an account. Just create a sample code I have. So how we'll do new account constructor and followed by account dot let's say have name any company. Just I'll take yes and then followed by industry. And then if I want to insert this one, I use like this one, insert insert space ACC. So once I read this one account, it will create a new record in an account object if it's having all validations rules are met and it don't have any errors, and if it is no, if it's not having any required fields. So if we have any required fields and if you are not mentioning values to the required fields, again this line will fail saying the required fields. So these are the required fields to create the record. Again, you have to go to the fields and assign some values to it. Or let's say if you have some validation rules that will also fire when you do this insert operation. So you have to make sure before doing insert whether you are giving all required fields you are giving or not, or if you have validation rules, you have a data satisfying all the validation rules or not. Okay, so this is a single record that we are doing. So if you want to do it on a multiple record, how we can do? So let's say have a list. So where we can apply the DML operations, only the collection type is a list, then only we can perform the DML operations. We have to remember that. So whenever you have a DML operation that you want to perform, you have to only use a list collection only. So I'm going to use a list and I'm going to use a new list of account. Okay. So here account A1 equal to new account. So again A1 dot name equal to I have a name and then solution, and then here we have account list. So in that list I will add this A1. Okay, and then I have one more account, and then A2 dot equal to name. What's the business they do? Let's say retail business. And here also I want to add it to how to add to the list. So use a add method to add to So this is one option. What is the other option we can give? We have different options anyway. And once we have a list ready, we can perform an insert operation on the list. Okay, this is to inserting a single record, and we use a list of records to again perform the DML operations. Okay, if you take in terms of rows and operation, so if you're using insert operations, once you write an insert operation, that will be considered as a one DML operation. And how many DML rows you consider? Here the DML rows are one. Here because you're using a list and you have two elements in the list. So the rows in the DML is two rows here. So that's how we need to consider the value. How many DML operations or how many DML rows you mean? So here the DML rows are two in this one, and here DML rows are one. Okay. And so far clear, or any questions you have? Any questions over here? Are we good? Okay, anybody here?
Looks good, Bala.
Okay, great. So this is how we insert either single or a multiple using a list. Now jumping onto a update operation. So okay, first before going to update, I want to add one more point. So I have a ACC, right? So before doing the insert operation, I assign two values. One is name, another is the industry. After insert, you will be automatically added one more field called ID. It will be automatically assigned to this one. So if you just do a system debug, you can see the what is the ID of this record that is being created. Okay. ID of the account creator is acc.id. Okay, you can access the value using a acc.id. Similarly, in the list also, you will be having a ID that will be added to it. That is so in this we have to use the index 0 and then ID. If you have a second one, then so what will be the index of the second record? 1. Okay, 0 and 1 is how we used to see. So when you do an insert operation, the ID value will be automatically assigned to the same variable after the insert operation. Okay, that's how we can access the ID value of the newly created record. Okay, so to perform the update operation, it is mandatory that you should have a ID value assigned to it. To perform update operation, ID value is required. Okay, so how to get the ID value? So if you want to, if you want to update some record. So let's say if you take this example, so similarly you have to a2.id also you need to assign. How you can assign the ID values? Any idea how we'll do? Okay, so how we can do is still you can use the same style and just so similarly same style you can follow and you do a2.id equal to, you can give some ID value here. So how can we get the ID value? Nowhere we can see it. So how we can do it? So I have one account. If I open, so in the URL you see, right? So this is what a Salesforce ID of this account record. So you can use this, but in code, it is not a realistic way of doing it, right? So we don't know like which account we're going to update and all. We cannot always hard code this value. So usually how do we do a update operation? Usually the update operation, if you want to do, what we'll do was first we will write a SQL query and extract the information. Let's say I want to update the accounts with industry is a banking. So I have some logic like that. So first of all, what I will do was I will write a query on account object. I will write account query on the account object. So I have to give a where condition industry equal to, I'll use a banking over here, and then what is the fields I want to update. Let's say I have account name I want to check, and then industry I have. So I want to change what are all the accounts that are having industry as a banking to a new industry name called a finance. So I have a lot, I have some code to do that kind of a logic. So what I will do, first I will extract all the accounts with the industry as a banking. Okay, now I have the list. And then what I will do for each record, I have to how to loop on this object. We can use this one, SSC colon list, so that it will be loop on the all the records in this S objects. Okay, so now I have each record. So in this, I'm going to um, so I'm going to assign a new value. What is the new value? Previous I have a banking, finance. So I'm going to add a new industry called so I have assigned all this. So it will iterate multiple times how many records, how it could be 10, 100,000, 10,000, doesn't matter. So it will iterate on all the records, and then I'm going to assign new value called a finance. So once I assign the finance, and then I need to update on the SSC list. Okay. So here you need to remember one thing while writing SQL queries, even though you queried for sorry, even though you not queried for ID field, you will automatically have the ID field exist in the query. So even though if you have mentioned the ID or not, you will be so you will be getting the ID value from in the result of the SOQL query. Okay, so it's not required. You need to mention the ID column every time. It is a default field by default when you're doing a SOQL query. Okay, so this is how we will do a update. First, we'll write a query and extract the information and what are all the modifications that you have. You will do all the modification and then perform the update operation. 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. That's how right. Any question? Any questions? Any questions we have?
So when we write the, this query and update it, that means backend we are fetching the ID2 and updating it, right?
So even though if you write, so thing was, to do a update operations, we need a ID field as a mandatory, correct? So
Hmm.
so you have to have ID here. But when you're doing a SOQL queries, even though if you not mention ID also, you can, if you print this one, you can see the ID as well. It will be
Hmm.
there. So when you do a query from a SQL query and do a update, it will automatically does for you. So you no need to mention ID specifically. And here we are like anonymously doing, and we don't have a clearly ID value here. So you have to mention somehow ID here and do update. Either you can do like this, but it is which is not going to be really realistic. And if you have something that you have to update by giving the ID also, it not like hard coding the value. If somehow if you know the ID from different query and you have the ID, then you can give the ID as well and update. So whatever this ID of the account record, that will be updated with this two value. So let's say you have 100 fields in this records account object. You have 100 fields and you mentioned these three fields and update. It doesn't mean the remaining fields are all going to be null. It doesn't mean that. You're going to update only these three fields only you're going to update. Okay. So if you're trying to do the update like this, so you take a new account and assign name, industry, and ID values, and then if you do a update A2 like this, then what will happen was in this account, it doesn't mean that you will only having these three values and remaining all values going to be null, false. That is not the way it's going to happen. Whatever the values it's being for all other fields, it will remain as is. And whatever the mentioned fields that you have in the code, that is going to be updated. The name field is going to be a PNG and industry going to be retail, and ID anyway you're not changing it. So this is what identifier. So only the changing values is going to be a name and industry. Whatever the remaining fields you having over here, everything will be as is. It will not be changed. And to answer your question, so that even though if you don't do a assign the ID also, it will be automatically happen when you query from the SQL query and modify some changes and do update, it will automatically take care of it. Because it will be having ID column in the backend itself. So in this logic also, we are not touching any other data, even though we queried only the two fields and you have modified only one field. So the affected will be only this field in this 5 lines of code. It is not going to change any of the remaining data in your records, what you have fetched. If you want to make any change to a particular field, you have to mention the field in your query and you have to make the change and update, then only it will reflect. Otherwise, until unless you don't perform anything, it will be like a void or not, like it will not happen anything to this those fields or untouched fields. Nothing will happen to the untouched fields. Okay, are we good or any questions over here?
So if you want to update a single record,
Okay,
so we follow the same thing.
yeah. So if you know a single record, how you will identify that record?
Using some where clause or some operand.
Yes, if you know some conditions and you know you know some ID or like other fields, if you have applied all the where condition, you can make change and you can update. So whatever the return value of SOQL and whatever you make modification, you do update, only those records will be affected with your changes. You can do the single record also. Okay, any other questions you have? Similarly, like insert, we can do update on a single record or a multiple records. So here it could be multiple or single or no records also possible. There might be no records with the industry as well. So you have to make sure that whether you have a data in it or not before doing the update operation. Just you can do some condition saying if it is like not null and not empty. Uh, Not empty. So if both are fine, then only you can write your operation so that it will be make sure that only if it's having records, then only that line is going to be executed. Okay, now let's move on to the upset. So upset is used to perform both insert and update. That means you have some data and you are having some ID or records for some of them, and some of them you want to like create new ones. In those scenarios, like you have a combination of creating a new records and updating the existing records. In those scenarios, we'll use upset. So how it will work? So let's say you have this list like this, same list as a A2. So I have a A2. So I have a A2. Similarly, so I have account 1 and account 2. So I know this account which is not there and I have no ID here. And I know the second account is exist. I want to update it. So I want to do both operation at the same time. I have two accounts. So in this scenario, what will happen was A1 will get created and A2 will get updated. And you're going to do both operations using a single statement upset. Okay, so this is this operation is used to perform both insert and update at a time, and which records are having the ID field mentioned will get updated, and all remaining records will get created. Okay, so same thing, whatever we have in the above, everything above can also be done below, like using the SQL query, you can extract some record, and then on top of it, account list. So let's say if you have a same operation over here, you have something like this, and then after these lines, after this line, if you want to, let's say, if you want to add some new records like A1, and if you do a upset also, you can do this like this also you can do. But what will happen, all you queried will get updated, and on top of it, what you have added, that will be created new. Okay, so it will be like different kind of code combination that you can use and do for the upset. Okay, any questions we have so far? Okay. Now moving on to the delete operation. So delete also a simple thing. Either you can perform on a single or multiple, and if you want to delete the rows or delete a single record or multiple record, here also ID column is required. ID field is required to delete the records, first thing. And what else we have? So records will be moved to the recycle bin. Okay, whatever the records that you do perform on the delete operation, that records will be moved to a recycle bin. Okay, and now how to do it? So let's say I have something like this. You can perform like this. Okay, if you know the ID of some accounts, and by using the ID, if you want to delete also, you can delete by doing a delete new account. Like this also you can do, or similarly account 3 dot id equal to like this also you can do. But thing was, all you need was ID column is required to perform a delete operation. And once you delete it, it will be moved to a recycle bin. Any questions so far? We'll discuss on the database class tomorrow. So apart, we can perform all this operation in the database class also, but we have like one more point I want to add over here. So all these operations we can do on the single record or a list of records, right? So some records have some validations to update or some validations to create. And let's say you're doing an insert operation on 100 accounts as a list, and out of 100, one or two account having some issue with the data, so required fields are missing or validation rules are failing for those two records. So it will be failed, right? So what will happen, because of these two records, entire operation will fail. That means none of the records will get inserted, and all 100 records will fail because of one or two records. Okay, and similarly, update operation also, if you have multiple records or anything, if you have issue with the single record also, every record will fail. That means the entire operation. So none of the update will happen when you're using a just normal insert and update upset operations. Here also, if you have issue with the one record also, it will fail entire operation. Similarly for a delete as well. So delete operations, like we don't the validations or like required fields, nothing will work in the delete. But if you have something, a trigger logic that we're going to discuss next sessions, if you have any logics by deleting also, if you have any validations that you want to run, and um, if those are met, and if you want to prevent the delete operation, that you can prevent, and if you have such kind of validations on a delete also, it will fail. So any of the one record fails, the entire list will fail using this normal operations. So again, we have some feature in a database class operations, where you can have a feature to control all or none option. So whether if you want to fail all the records, if one record is fails, like how it will behaves with the normal operations, and the other operation is allow partial success. That is like, even though some record fails, that's okay, fail them, and whatever the good records you have, pass them. So whatever the operations you perform, pass them, and saying that okay, continue with the process whatever you're having. Okay, so that we're going to discuss deeper in the tomorrow's class. Okay, before closing, if you have any questions, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll wrap up further today.
Quick question, Bala. So the recent thing which you just explained about the failure when we are inserting, if one is failing, entire is failing. So I assume when we are doing it through a data loader or any import, if one fails, everything fails. But if we write a custom class and then if something is failing, it would continue with rest of the ones, right?
Data loader is separate. So here we are talking about the code in data loader or import wizard or workbench, or like what are the tools that we had to do bulk loads. Those are different. We don't have a control over there. Here we are talking about this whatever we have insert, update, upsert, delete operations. So all these operations we can do on a single record or a multiple records. So see, single record, it is clear. If it is fails, means only that record is going to fail. But when we're doing this operations on a collection of records, that is like a more than one record as a list. Let's take in this list having 100 records. And when you're trying to insert 100 records using a list,